Why do we feel so good? Why do we feel so good? Welcome to the monthly stocks crypto update of February to March. As you know, we don't look at things from a daily basis or even weekly basis. We try to get a bigger range of time on a monthly basis as much to see what's been going on with the market. As a brief summary, Feds have rates, mortgage rates I'm referring to in terms of interest rates. So mortgage rates have been going up, which causes a lot of issues with borrowing, right? You're paying a high interest, of course, lending from any bank that you want to go through. So therefore, it's going to limit lending and people are going to be slowing down on that. And that's what causes the effects of so-called the economy growing. But really and honestly, it helps it rebalance and resustain itself. Of course, they come back after time to put more money into the economy, print all this money, cause the inflation to rise up, and then we see the effects of that. But stocks right now are not doing super great, but at the same time, they're not doing super bad. I'm up probably 40% on average across most of my portfolios year to date from January until now. So I've seen a nice increase that has fluctuated. I think I peaked about 50% year to date, probably last week or the week before that. But for the most part, I'm still way up from beginning of the year to where I'm at now. And things are way lower from where they are supposed to be. Let's dive right in, as we always do. Where's the SP 500? It is right now at 3861. From year to date, we see it went back to the level that it started off with, because it started off around 3853, 3861. So it's the same. It peaked at almost 4,200, but it didn't make it that far, right? It got a little momentum and it didn't make it that far. From last year, we are down from last year about 10%, as we could see, but from past 5 years, we see that we are up 38%, so which is great, which is amazing. That means even though things are bad right now, the economy is going through its turbulences, we are still up from where we were 5 years ago, because that's what happens over time. Things grow and accumulates more in actual value. It doesn't stay to where it's at. And that's if you're purchasing assets. If you're keeping things in cash, of course, you left $3,800 underneath your mattress, you're going to have $3,800 in the next 5 years. And you're not going to be able to buy the same things anymore. You're going to see that things got much more expensive versus if you had put it into the market, it would have grown to maybe 6,000, which would allow you to buy the same amount of things that you would be able to buy at that point in time, right? So we got to continue to invest our money for it to grow and be matching up with how the cost of how things are rising. So that's S&P 500. The Dow is at almost 3,200. Year to date, we're kind of even, right? We see that we're lower actually, right? We're down 4% from beginning. From a year ago, it's about the same, but from 5 years, we're up 26%. Look at that. Same thing. And the last is the NASDAQ. So year to date, we're up in the NASDAQ. A lot of that has been attributed to, I think, the tech sector, which had a small increase, a small upswing of prices in some of these stocks. From a year ago, we're down 15%, still battered quite a bit. But from 5 years ago, it's up 47%. It's doing better than the SP 500 as well as the Dow. But now let's look at the individual markets, see how things have been going. Grayscale, Grayscale has been much higher than where it has been from the start of the year, I feel. So we can see the large cap fund is up 37% year to date. BCHG, yes, I'm highly invested in this as well. What I did was I had my Charles Schwab's account, and most of the funds I had in there that were not invested, pretty much. I can't say most of the funds throughout the entire account. So I typically have cash sometimes that's sitting around waiting for a good opportunity. And that's what I did. I bought around 37 cents. And now that portfolio, which was down by, I think, 50%, is now only down by like 20%, right? It's a huge upswing that I saw by putting a good chunk into this fund right here. It's the Bitcoin Cash Trust. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, I don't really invest in that as much. It's up 35%. It hasn't been doing as bad. I mean, all these have been doing better than a lot of stocks, honestly. Litecoin Trust, I think it's been pretty flat. Oh, I'm wrong. Up 57%. That's pretty good. Ethereum Trust up 47. Ethereum Classic, it's up 71. So these have been doing pretty good. Like, I don't really buy Stellar Lumens or even though it's up pretty nicely. And what's the other one? Live Peer. Yeah, I don't really invest in those because I don't know. I just prefer the ones that I'm know that are linked to more of the common coins. So that's Litecoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and then the large cap fund is one of that kind of combines all these funds together. So that's all on grayscale. Pennies we're gonna skip because pennies are just all risky stocks. I don't want to look at them. I just put a couple $100 here and there to some of these pennies to see what happens. When the market goes back to its bull run and everything starts surplusing like crazy, that's when I think I'm going to liquidate. I'm no longer buying and selling for the short long. I'm more buying and holding for at least a year plus. I do not want to pay short-term capital gains. I had the experience with that, and it is horrible because they put that against your regular income. Therefore, you end up being taxed at a higher rate, and it comes on your taxes as income versus it coming down as assets that you're just investing on the side, which I do not like. So from now on, I said, no, Uncle Sam, you're not getting that piece of the pie. I'd rather wait. So my strategy now is to whatever stocks is doing good, bad. When the bull run happens and things starts going up like crazy, that's when I'll think about what I'm gonna sell off and liquidate to offset whatever. But until then, I'm not gonna try to sell this here, then get this tax deduction. Screw all that. I'd rather wait and see what happens in the next bull run, which may be end of this year, which may be next year. But I do know for sure by 2025, things are gonna be way up from where they are now. I'm not speaking like I'm God or anything like that, but it's just look at the trajectory of how things have had happened in the past. History repeats itself when it comes to the stock market and crypto as well. So as you can see, I have some holdings here. I added more to this. MULN. I know I've said before that BlackRock has a lot invested in it. I'm holding. I'm not touching anything. Year to date, down 41%. I think I purchased around maybe 30 cents. And nothing crazy either because I know these can get risky. It has a market cap of 360 million, which is a lot of money. If you think about how many people believe in this thing, it's an automotive company, and BlackRock is heavily backed into this fund right here. That's pretty much what sparked my interest is when I heard about them. Then you have LVMH. That's the company that owns Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy. Meta is still up. Like I'm still up like 90%. I think from the down when I purchased around $90, 95, or even doubled what I originally purchased it for, which is amazing. All right, so news of events, Hire Car. Let's talk about Hire Car. They have filed for bankruptcy. And I talked about this in a short, and I said how if you could have gotten it into this, it's a risky, I knew it was a risky stock. It's not something I can be like, put all your 401k into this. I would never tell you do that for a company like this. I knew they were eventually a bit in a shaky situation. However, sometimes these come with very lucrative rewards. So the reason I shared this is because Hertz was in the same place a few years ago during the COVID, when COVID really sparked. They went all the way down to like maybe 60 cents a share, and now Hertz is up to like $18 a share. You killed it if you bought around that price, the 60 cents a share. So that's what it is for me. I'm not saying buy a whole lot, $50, $10, whatever you could put into it, right? I don't think it's available to purchase on most markets right now because they've kind of delisted it in a certain way. So if you missed out, then you missed out. I did share this on my channel, so that's why you want to make sure that you subscribe in case I post anything, even shorts, because I think I shared this during a short. But I occasionally talk about these things in case you want to catch it. I'm not saying this might skyrocket back to $10 or at a super high price, but it's okay. This is where you want to have a leverage of different things in your portfolio. You have a few risky ones that you're throwing a little bit of change in, not more than 5%, I would say, of the money that you have invested. Even 2%. Like, don't even like gamble with 2% of the money in terms of, oh, I'm gonna risk it here, and you don't know what rewards can come out of it at all. But do not put all your eggs inside of one basket or even into risky stocks like that. Moving on, let's check Airbnb. How have they been doing? 38%. Now with Airbnb, it seemed like it hasn't been talked about as much how bad that the rental side of Airbnb is doing right now at this moment. I'm not saying it's super bad in the sense that nobody's doing renting from Airbnb. It's just not at the when it where it was as soon as COVID kind of we came out of COVID in 2020 transitioning to 2021, they were being booked like crazy. So many YouTubers were talking about Airbnb, this is what you should do. At that point, it's always too late for me, because I feel like if you're getting into something when it's hot, you missed out. You got to get in it before it even got there, right? If you had your Airbnb rental set up prior to that, then yeah, you were charging a lot much more money. You were being overly booked all the time, and that's pretty much what it was for Airbnb during that time. And right now, there's a slowdown of turns of things, and I'm potentially looking into getting into that as well, but it's not my main focus. I'm more on the passive income side, where it's consistent rental that's happening. You get your depreciation. The plus side to doing short-term rentals is that you could depreciate your property much sooner. You could do it within a year, 2 years. You can do it much quicker because they expect you to go through losses throughout the property much quicker. People are coming in and out of property. It's a lot much more maintenance. So they give you that capability within the IRS guidelines. But still a decent company to invest in. Let's see. EPAM is something I've been checking out. They're more in the job kind of management consultancy space. They called me before and I looked at their stock. I was like, you guys are worth $16 billion. Like, what the heck are you doing? And for the amount they were paying, I was like, heck no, I'm not gonna go for it. This is how much you're gonna have to pay me. But their goal is to make costs as little as possible and, of course, increase their revenue to make shareholders happy. The people that always come out on top are the shareholders, not the employees. And I was just not gonna fall for that. So I said, if you ain't gonna pay me this much, I ain't gonna do it. So they're in that space of delivering like technology stuff and the consultancy, providing jobs and opportunities. The whole like employee services, HR stuff, that's in their space. I think I would invest in them around. They dropped like right here. You see right here? I missed that opportunity right there when they went to like 170 something. So they were around this time. I didn't do it because I was like, yeah, maybe they'll go down even further more. Look how much they peaked. $670 something a share, right? Meaning right now they're still considered to be low from where they potentially could be. I think everything in 2025, 2026 will be surpassing these values. Like, we're going to be looking at these values like right here. Like, this is where 600 something dollars is going to be when we look at the values of some stocks at that point. And then their price is going to be at this peak. So this might be at like 2,500, which is crazy, right? Which is almost 10x. This is why you want to make sure you are invested in the market. Diversify your portfolio as much as possible in things that you believe in. Don't just buy things because either I'm saying it or someone else you heard saying it. Do your research on the company, see if it's something that you would actually invest in. Like, think of yourself as being a shark, right? You know the show Shark Tank. Now, if your company comes to you and bring a pitch to you, like, would you invest in this for the long run? Meaning through all the good days and bad days, because you're going to have bad news reports about them missing their estimates that they were supposed to deliver on for a particular quarter or for the year. Or you're going to hold on to that company for that time being, right? You got to evaluate all these things and know where you envision things for the long-term run, not the 1 year mark. I would say for the couple of years. I would say not. Don't invest in things if you're trying to buy and sell within a few months. If you're into the whole day trading thing, my hats off to you. That's just a different beast. It's not something I do because I feel that's not what works best for me at all. More of the long term side. I pay the least amount of capital gains tax, and I'll sell when everything just bull run off like crazy. So I encourage you to look into things before you dive into it. Beyond Meat is also another potential for me. Year to date, they're up 40% from a year ago. They're still down quite a bit. I think I'm going to invest in them around $10. Like, I think if they hit under $10, I'm gonna go in. And it looks like they never reached that point. They started off at 60 something dollars a share, and now they're at 17. But I think around $10, I'm definitely gonna get some. Hertz, as we have seen, right? They were down to like 60 cents at one point, and now they came back up to like $17. It wasn't through this, is when they got re-enlisted again. They were listed under another ticker before they got relisted prior to the whole them being saved from the whole bankruptcy thing. So those people made it out pretty nicely. Law is a company that I actually had interviewed with as well. They're they have a AI technology that provides law firms as well as lawyers with ability to help them with their process, answering cases, looking for solutions to a particular case, and finding things in the law that may help them in a particular case. Jot down all the notes, convert it to something that's readable, reusable, that they don't have to spend time doing a lot of manual digging for information in a particular case. I do believe in their technology. I just ended up not working there. It didn't work out. But I think they may have an opportunity in the long run. Market cap is at 360 right now. Something I'm gonna buy, right? May not work for you, but if I'm a shareholder, hey, you're gonna care about me a lot much more as a shareholder. So $6, I think, is a good decent price for them right now. Uh, Definitely. Camber Energy, I still have my original holdings. That's another gamble. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you should invest quite a bit in it. Rivian's had some bad news recently because they've missed an estimate recently. Right. You're going to see these things that is more controversial. I think in the long run, they're going to pretty much do pretty well. So let's see if we can find one article that really elaborated on this, right? People are asking, will Rivian ever be profitable and all this stuff? And yeah, double digit drop. Yes, they lost a lot of market cap. What happened is they missed some of their estimates. The numbers that they were promising on, it didn't quite happen. That's all this to sum it up for you. That's going to be continuously happen. Do I believe in the car company? Yes, I do. I'm in the New York area and I'm seeing a couple cars, Rivian cars, that's out in the streets, which is how Tesla started. Now I'm seeing a lot more Tesla than before, but before you barely weren't seeing them and their stock price was pretty high. They were still the multi-billion. So Rivian has a long way to go. $12 billion market cap. I think they're gonna reach back their peak, even much higher than that, right? Look at this. 129 to they're $14. So think about this, you're getting it at a 85% discount. Like this is stating right here. So I will be buying more of this. I'm just right now in the process of wrapping up tax filings and all this stuff and then investing back into the 401k throughout all these funds. Robinhood, not really investing in AutoZone. I always say this is gold. With AutoZone, it's like they don't get affected by nothing at all. They're like the perfect stock you could buy that's better than gold, I feel. Just look at the trend that they go through, right? Look at the 5 year mark. Straight up. Like even during COVID, that happened right here. Oh yeah, they did a little boo-boo drop by like $250, 25%, while other stocks were getting battered 50, 60, 70%, right? They were down by a little bit. And look where they're at right now. They're up by way more than most stocks. So I will say if you're looking at something where you don't want to look at all, AutoZone is always a great option. They don't go nowhere, which makes sense because their business model is to provide parts for cars and things like that. I'm just gonna fast forward through all of this. XPeng, one of the ones I encourage to look into. Coinbase, I encourage that one as well in terms of looking into. Car, I just think it's way too late for me to get into it. I remember when I was deciding between Hertz and Car. Car is Avis, so that's the other car rental company, but that's their symbol. I went with Hertz. I put my money towards Hertz, and if I had put into Car, I would have probably 15x my money at the time. So it didn't happen. Roblox, I think around $20. I'm gonna go in 25 maybe. Well, look like it did hit 25 around December. Around $20, I think I'm buying Roblox because I think they're gonna play a nice role inside of the metaverse. They already have the population. Jemaya, as you know, it's like the Amazon in Africa. It's super low right now. It's one of the ones I always look at, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere really per se. It may go through a transition. They're going through a rough time because of the whole economy and things, but I think they're gonna come back pretty strong. Then you got Square. QDEL is another one I recommend. Fiverr, they're not going anywhere in the sense that it's pretty active where freelancers are finding opportunities. I use it quite a bit on a monthly basis to find people with help with my company and things like that. They're pretty good. I don't have anything invested in them right now, but I do plan on purchasing some in the future. Go to, I'm probably triple from, I did sell off at one point at a loss and I rebought back in probably a month later with the same amount of money at a much lower price. And I think I'm up 300%. Not from my original investment. I'm probably almost breaking even right now. right? But I'm still way up from what I had sold off because I think I purchased this around average $1.50 a share. And I'm looking forward to them being successful. Them and Tal, they're both in the education space. I believe in both for the long term. China had passed some policies which had made their stock go from like $100. Let me show you this. When China passed that law, they went from around right here to this because China said they're banning companies profiting off the education system. So they kind of have to go through a nonprofit model, which I'm not sure what they're planning for their revenue model at this point in time and what they're trying to go for the future. Now, let's actually jump to some crypto. Oh, the last stock actually I'm going to share is Lab. The good thing with Lab is it is way up in value from what I'm averaging out. And when I also mentioned this to you guys, so they were originally called Fluidigm and they got renamed, rebranded to Lab. New CEO, they had an injection of $250 million that is going to be spread across time, of course, to help the company grow and be elevated. They're into the whole cancer research. They also provided the testings for COVID in different places, airports and things like that. But the business didn't expand as well as I had predicted it would. But I'm still believing in them for what they're going to do and how they're going to achieve. Because cancer research, stem cell research, and cell research is very important, and they're all inside of that space. Because that's all it takes is one FDA approval for something, and next thing you know, the stock is 50x, right? And I'm definitely liquidating at that point because I've held this for years now. So I'm not going to be paying no short-term capital gains when it comes to that. Crypto has been being leveled off a bit, been getting beat up quite some bit. So Binance right now, where it is at, as you can see, it's at 278. Within the month, it went up, built a little bit of momentum, but it's just not quite there. It's like it's getting some elevation, but it just keeps coming down. Keeps coming up, keeps coming down. But we see this pattern. Like this is what was happening here. Look at this. This is 2018. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? And it's slowly, and then next thing you know, boom, boom. And this is what's gonna happen again. Like we're gonna see this right here. This is what this is gonna be like. Could you imagine? It went from around like $15-$20 to now $500. That's like 25x. So imagine now we're here and this is gonna 25x. That's gonna be like $6,000 a piece. And this is why I'm believing in this. Don't just believe in crypto because it becomes hot at some point. You got to believe in it for its technology and how do you think of it in the long term. In the future, I think people are going to be buying and selling through these different coins to make these trade-offs because the transactions happen pretty much like this. I don't have to wait 3 days for this to settle and all this stuff with PayPal. No, it happens. You send it no matter where you are in the world. The transaction could complete much quicker, right? I've done this before where someone from Thailand had sent me some Ethereum and I got it within like half an hour. I didn't have to wait a few days and do this whole conversion process. That's one side of it. The other side of it is, of course, the metaverse, which Facebook has took a lead on. And I know you're not hearing about it in the news or anything like that because he's keeping quiet. And it seems like they might be doing another round of layoffs, but who knows? The thing with Facebook, you just don't know what to expect. Zuckerberg, of course, he has all this money. He's going crazy trying to make this thing as hot after getting the Oculus on board. But we don't know where the metaverse will go through. We don't know how it's going to be adopted and how people are going to want to adopt it as well. Because it could be AR, part of the whole thing that really kicks in, and that's what people are attracted to. It might not be the whole big VR heavy set. It might just be that. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is Web 3.0, which kind of ties into the metaverse. Because I don't know if Web 3.0 is going to be like my computer now. I'm going to have this immersive 3D landscape of navigating browsers and websites. Or is navigating websites is me putting on this goggle and I'm inside of this land and I can go to this website. And that's how I'm going through my Instagram feed, right? I'm just walking through the space and seeing my friends inside of this land, and that's going to be the new Instagram feed. And this is the way I'm thinking because I think that's what's going to help things shape up to where it needs to be. But it requires people's adoption to it, people's attention to it, and a massive amount of the technology being refined to be better as well. Right now, it's not in a perfect state. It's lacking quite a bit of things. It's slow, the whole decentralization thing, and some companies are a bit of hot mess because they're trying to keep maintain themselves as being decentralized, and it causes some of these issues. That's why I say just really look into this and invest with your own due diligence, do your own studies to see how you can come about. Yeah, UTC, Lunsi, Shiba Inu, it's leveled off. Nothing is really up high. Everything is kind of flat, right? Nothing is really peaking. It built a little momentum and it drops down. Now near, I am definitely going to buy around $1.50, and it looks like it peaked down to $1.70. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna buy around that price range because I'm almost bored here, but I missed out my boat. So $1.30, $1.25, to me that's golden, right? I'm averaging on near probably around $2 a piece, but it's completely fine. I'm staking all my coins inside of Binance.us right now because it gives you weekly rewards from the coin, which is great. It's how you earn passive income. I've made so far in less than a year about $600 from all the coins that I have for doing nothing. And once that $600 comes back to its true value with crypto going up, it now might be like $6,000, right? 10x, 15x is very beautiful to see that happening. And this is how you earn passive income with crypto. This is one plus side of crypto, I think, which stocks lack, is one, the volatility, as well as the ability to have that flexibility. The rewards are much greater. They're better than how dividends pay out. Yearn Finance, they're pretty flat as well. It's not one I'm invested into. I think they peaked over $100,000. I think last time, about, yeah, close to it. So they were pretty high up there above where Bitcoin is. If anything, I would buy this before I buy Bitcoin because Bitcoin I think is still way too high. Cadena, still holding on to that. I'm gonna be buying some more if it hits like 70 cents. I think it peaked down to about 80. Yeah, about 80 cents. So it's not too far from its lows. If it goes around there, touches that again, I'm definitely gonna be doing that. Matic, I'm still staking. It hasn't been doing great, but at the same time, not doing bad as well. If it drops down to any of these prices, I'm definitely buying some more. Doge, holding on to mines, and I'm going to be buying some more because it looks like it's going back to its original 6 cents price. Wow. So I originally bought Doge around 6 cents in 2021, and I 5x my investments. It was quite a bit of change because it helped me do a lot of renovations that I had going on throughout the house. So it's coming back to that price again, and I think it's a good opportunity for me to step into it. Ethereum Classic, buying more of that. I think is getting close to that $15 mark. That's my buying target for that. It's like 15 bucks a piece. Past 6 months, its low was around that price. So it's close to its lows. Ethereum, I'm not buying anymore for now, but maybe if it hits under $1,000, I'll look into it, right? Like the $800, yeah. It's not bad to buy around that price. Litecoin, I'm still believing. I have quite a bit in there right now. I think if it goes around the 50 mark again, I'm going to be buying some more. And then Bitcoin, as I mentioned, it's not something I'm really invested in. I got probably like a few $100 worth of Bitcoin, but it's not where I'm going heavy with the investments. And that's pretty much with the stocks updates. Things are pretty flat right now on both crypto side. The Dow ain't doing pretty good. It's not at all, and it might not be for some time with interest rates fluctuating like that. The Fed stepping in, all this stuff globally that's going around. You're not hearing much about the war with Russia and Ukraine as much. That's been dying off a bit. Gas prices as well as groceries and inflation. You're not hearing much about that. So I think it's now the opportunity where when you hear dead silence like this and things aren't as crazy as they are, we're about to go through that transition where we're reversing from where we were at. And that's why I say it's important you consistently invest in the things that you believe in, passively do it. Don't just try to day trade or anything like that. I think you're gonna miss out if you're trying to day trade at this moment. Unless you're a professional day trader, you're good, it's working out for you, great, amazing. You keep doing what you desire to do, what you love to do. But I'm looking at for the long term because when that jump happens, it's gonna creep up on us. We're not gonna expect it, and how it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen pretty massively. Like things are gonna be way higher than where they are right now. Right now, we are in that lows of the moment. So Do recurring investments. If you could do it monthly, weekly, whatever works for you. Of course, do not put money for your rent in there that you're trying to gamble. Look at this from the 2 year, 3 year mark. That money you could just let sit there and just not touch. For your 401ks, right now it's a good opportunity to put more, contribute. When stock prices and the market is doing better, you contribute less. So if you were doing 20%, for example, during the market lows, now when the markets are high, you could do 6% until you can balance off however much you're trying to contribute. I think they've increased the contribution amount this year for your 401k. I participate in the solo 401k plan because I have my own business, so I'm able to put a lot more. For me, that's 66,000 for this year, minus some other caps. But that's the most they'll allow me to do because I'm a solo practitioner. I encourage you to invest in it because it's low. When that upturn happens, you could really enjoy a lucrative gain from these to happen. But again, speak to your accountant, speak to your attorney, your tax professionals to see the strategy that will work for you, because not everything works the same way for everybody, right? You may have a formula that works great for you, but for the next person, it doesn't because of their asset size, family, their goals as well. What are you trying to obtain and reach in life? So hope you found all this insightful. Peace and love. Like, share, subscribe, and I shall see you next time. Hustle, 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 hustle.